So let us now have some information about the components of population change. Okay, so what does this components of population change basically refers to actually? See, the population of any particular area, it changes between two time periods just because of three factors. Okay, and these three factors are considered as the component of population change. Okay, so what are these three components of population change? The three components of population change are the birth, the death, and the migration. Or you can say the birth rate, the death rate, and the migration. These are the three components of population change. Okay, because if you see the population growth rate of any particular country, you will find that these three are the main factors because of which the population has increased or decreased in a certain region, in a certain geographical area actually. Okay, so basically the birth rate, the death rate, and the migration are considered as the important components of population change. Okay, so the birth rate, which is also known as the crude birth rate, is expressed as number of live births in a year per thousand of population. Okay, so what is this birth rate? The birth rate or the crude birth rate is actually the number of live births. Okay, the number of live births in a particular year, okay, per thousand of people. That means for every 1000 people, what is the number of childs taking birth, live birth taking place? Okay, and this is the formula which we use for calculating the crude birth rate. CBR is equal to BI divided by P into 1000. Okay, where CBR basically means the crude birth rate, BI basically refers to the live birth, that is the number of child who takes birth, actually the live child. Okay, during the year, and P basically refers to the median population of the area. Okay, median population of that particular area, total population of that particular area. Okay, and the next is the death rate. Okay, the death rate plays an active role in population change. Okay, so basically the death rate, it plays a very important role in the change of population actually. Okay, so population growth occurs not only by increasing birth rate but also due to decreasing death rate. Okay, so basically the population of any certain geographical area, it increases not only because of higher birth rate actually, but also because of decreasing birth rate. Means when the decreasing death rate, when the death rate decreases actually, okay, and the birth rate increases, so at that case also, in that case also, there will be increase in the population, there will be change in the population. Okay, so the crude death rate is a simple method of measuring mortality of any area. Okay, so the crude death rate is a simple method of measuring the death, okay, of any area actually. So CDR is expressed in terms of number of deaths in a particular year, thousands of population, year per thousand of population in a particular region actually. Okay, so the crude death rate is expressed in a particular year. Okay, the number of deaths for every 1000 people. So the same formula will be used here in case of crude death rate. Only the difference is that instead of B1, we will be writing here D, and D basically refers to the number of death. Okay, so crude birth rate and crude death rate, okay, these are the two components of population change. Apart from crude birth rate and crude death rate, the migration, okay, migration is another important component of population change actually. Okay, and what is this migration actually? What does migration basically refers to? See, migration basically refers to the movement of people from one place to another. Okay, migration basically refers to the movement of people from one place to another. That means when the people, they leave their old place of residence, they move to a new place and they settle permanently. Okay, that is known as migration. Okay, and this movement of the people may be permanent or temporary. Okay, sometimes the people, they leave their own homeland or own place of residence and they move to some other place and they settle there permanently. Or sometimes we see that the people, they migrate, okay, for work, employment opportunities and all, and after staying for few years, few days, few months and all, they again come back to their original place actually. So in that case, it is a temporary migration. Okay, so migration is another important component of population change because apart from the birth rate and the death rate, migration also plays a very important role in changing the population of a certain area. Okay, so when the people, they move from one place to another, okay, they move from the place they move from is called the place of origin, and the place they move to is called the place of destination. So when this migration takes place, actually, the people, they move from the present place to some other place. Okay, suppose a people is a resident of Siliguri, and now he is staying in Siliguri, and he is going to migrate to Kolkata. Okay, So presently where he is staying in Siliguri. So this is the place of origin because he is migrating from where? He is migrating from Siliguri. Okay, so Siliguri is the place of origin. And where this people is migrating, where is this person is migrating to actually? He is going to where? He is going to Kolkata. He is migrating to Kolkata. So Kolkata will be the place of destination. Okay, so the particular place from where the migrant people they migrate is known as the place of origin, and the place where they migrate to is known as the place of destination. Okay, so the migration, okay, it changes the population in both these places. It changes the total number of people in the place of origin as well as in the place of destination actually. Okay, the place of origin shows a decrease in population while the population increases in the place of destination. Okay, so basically the place of origin shows a decrease in population. Okay, so the place from where the people are migrating, there is a decrease in the population, and the place where the people are migrating to, okay, that is in the place of destination, there's an increase of population. Suppose 10 people are migrating from Siliguri, so Siliguri is the place of origin, and there 10 people are migrating to Kolkata. So 10 people is getting subtracted, reducing from Siliguri, isn't it? So here the population is decreasing. And this 10 people is migrating to where? Kolkata. So there is an addition of 10 people in Kolkata. Okay, that is the place of destination. Okay, so in both these cases, you see that the population has changed. In one case, there is an increase, and in another case, there is a decrease. Okay. So migration may be interpreted as a spontaneous effort to achieve a better balance between population and resources. Okay, so this migration is basically, it may be considered as a spontaneous effort actually to bring a balance. Okay, to bring a balance between the population and the available resources. Okay, because there are certain areas in the world actually, okay, where the resources are not enough available. Okay, so the people they migrate from those areas to the areas where there is availability of resources. Okay, like there are many areas where employment is not available, so people they migrate from those areas. And where do they migrate? They migrate to those areas where employment opportunities are available actually. Okay, so this migration can be permanent or temporary or seasonal actually. Okay, so as because the people are migrating, okay, so sometimes the people are migrating permanently, sometimes they migrate for a temporary reason, or sometimes they migrate for a particular season actually, that is a seasonal migration. Okay, so permanent migration basically means when the people they leave their present place of residence permanently and they go and settle somewhere else, that is the permanent migration. Okay, and temporary migration basically takes place for better job opportunities, education and all. Okay, because suppose some people they have migrated from Siliguri to Kolkata, okay, to earn their livelihood. So they will be going to Kolkata, they will stay there for 4 or 5 years and also. Okay, okay, and when they will have enough money and they want to go back to their old place, okay, so they will again return back to Siliguri after 4 or 5 years or 10 years and all. So that is a temporary migration. Okay, and seasonal migration basically takes place in the rural areas. Okay, in the rural areas, seasonal migration takes place. Okay, because agricultural practice is not carried out throughout the year. Okay, there is a gap in this agricultural practice. Okay, so during the time when there is no agricultural practice, okay, means there's a particular time period when the farmers they does not have any work in the agricultural fields. So in that particular time, what they do, they move to the urban areas. They move to the nearby urban areas to work as a laborer, to work as some other jobs and all. Okay, so that they can earn some extra income. And when again the agricultural season comes, they again come back to the rural areas to earn their livelihood. Okay, so that is an example of seasonal migration actually. Okay, so the migration can be permanent, it may be temporary, or it may be seasonal in nature. Okay, and this migration, okay, that is the migration of the people, sometimes takes place, okay, between the rural to the urban areas, sometimes from the uh, rural to the urban areas, sometimes from the rural to the rural areas, sometimes from the urban to the rural areas, and sometimes from the urban to the urban areas. Okay, so these are the different streams of migration actually. These are the different streams of migration, or you can say these are the different streams of internal migration. Okay, so when internal migration takes place, okay, now one more thing I want to add here, then migration may be internal or international. Internal migration basically means when the people they are migrating within their country. Suppose a people he is migrating from Siliguri to Kolkata or from Siliguri to Kerala or Bangalore, anywhere. So where this people is migrating within the country, so it is an example of internal migration. But suppose the people who is migrating from Siliguri, he is migrating to Dubai, he is migrating to USA, UK, or any other countries in the world. So that is international migration. Okay. So there are variation, even there are types, okay, subdivisions of this internal migration and international migration. So the internal migration can mainly be classified into 4 different types, or you can say that internal migration is mainly divided into 4 different streams. Okay, that is rural to rural migration. Rural to rural migration means when the people they migrate from one rural area to the another rural area, or rural to urban migration when the people they migrate from rural area to the urban areas. And even the migration of the people, internal migration of the people may take place from one urban area to the another urban area, or sometimes we see that the migration takes place from the urban area to the rural area. Okay, so these are the 4 different streams of internal migration. And in our country, in most of the cases, we find this one. Okay, most of the migration is rural to urban migration in our country. Okay, I'm just giving an example. Okay, basically, in case of rural to rural migration, okay, it happens basically the females. Okay, the number of females are more in this kind of rural to rural migration, because when the females they get married to the another rural areas and also. Okay, so the number of females are more in this case of rural to rural migration. Rural to urban migration, the number of males are more in this kind of rural to urban migration, because the males from the rural areas they migrate to the urban areas to earn their livelihood. Okay, and even sometimes we see that there's a migration from the urban area to the urban area. Okay, that means people are migrating from the smaller towns and cities to the larger towns and the cities, like people migrating from Siliguri to Kolkata, Siliguri to Bangalore. So what is happening here? Urban to urban migration is taking place, isn't it? And even sometimes urban to rural migration takes place. Okay, sometimes the people they are migrating from the urban area to the rural areas. Basically, when the city become very much congested, the people they find it uncomfortable to live in those areas. Okay, so in that case, they migrate from the urban area to the nearby rural areas or nearby suburban areas. Okay, and even many a times we see that the people after retirement they want to settle their life in the rural areas and all in their old homes. Okay, so they go back to their previous place actually. Okay, so this is what about the types of internal migration, or you can say the streams of internal migration. Okay. Now, if we talk about the international migration may be classified into 2 categories. One is the immigration, IMMI. There is a difference only in the spelling. IMMIGRATION, immigration, and EMIGRATION, immigration. Okay, so what is the main difference between these two? Suppose I'm giving an example considering India. Okay, so as we are living in India, so let us consider India. Okay, and understand what it is actually. So migrants who move to a new place are called immigrants, and immigrant means migrants who move out of a place are called immigrants. Suppose Indian people who is migrating to USA, okay, or who is migrating to UK or any other countries in the world. So what he is doing actually, he is migrating from his own country to a new country. So for the people of India, the process will be immigration, EMIGRATION. Okay, suppose any one of our student after completing class 12, he had got a chance in in one of the college, okay, in the foreign university actually. So what he is doing actually, he is leaving his own country, that is India, and he is going to UK. So for India, the process is EMIGRATION, immigration, and for USA, okay, the process is immigration, because he is a foreigner who is coming to USA. Okay, and to be more precise, to be more easier, suppose a UK person, a person of UK or USA or from any other country, when they come to our country, actually, they are known as IMMIGRATION. The process is known as immigration. And the person is known as immigrant, IMMIGRANT, immigrant. Okay, so this is the main difference between IMMIGRATION, immigration, and EMIGRATION, immigration. Okay. So why do these people basically migrate? We saw that the people are migrating within the country, outside the country, from rural to the urban area, urban to the urban areas, and different area to the other areas. Why? Why do the people migrate? The people they migrate for various reasons actually. Okay, and these various reasons can be grouped into 2 different factors. Okay, there are two different factors of migration. Okay, and under these two different factors, there are various causes actually. So what are these two different factors of migration actually? The two different factors of migration are the push factor and the pull factor. Okay, the push factor and the pull factor, these are the two important factors of migration. Push factor basically means the factors which force the people to leave their present place of residence and to migrate to some other place. Suppose in Siliguri, better job opportunities are not available. Okay, better educational facilities are not available. So the people, they are migrating from Siliguri to the other areas actually. Why? Because in Siliguri there is no job opportunities, there is no better educational opportunities and all. So they are migrating. So these factors actually, unemployment, lack of better educational facilities, this is forcing the people of Siliguri or the students of Siliguri to migrate to some other cities. So what is happening here is the push factor is playing the important role actually. Okay, so unemployment, poor living conditions, political turmoil, unpleasant climate, natural disaster, epidemics, and socio-economic backwardness. Okay, these are the some of the push factors, okay, which force the people to migrate. The next is the pull factor. Pull factors means the factors which attract the people. Suppose Bangalore is a better education institutes are there, better job opportunities are available in the IT industry sectors and all. Okay, so these factors, the better educational institutes, the better employment opportunities, they are attracting the people of Siliguri actually, and this is the reason that the people are migrating to Bangalore. Okay, so what is happening here? The factors, okay, the employment opportunities, better facilities are attracting the people actually. Okay, so these are the pull factors. Okay, so pull factors makes the place of destination seem more attractive than the place of origin for reasons like better job opportunities and living conditions, peace and stability, security of life and property, and pleasant climate. Okay, so these are some of the pull factors actually. Okay, so push factor basically refers to the factors which force the people to migrate from the place of origin, and pull factors basically refers to the factors which attract the people to the place of destination. They are known as the pull factors. Okay, so these are the different concepts related to migration, and you saw here that how the birth rate, the death rate, and the migration, they are causing change in the population of a particular geographical area. Okay, between two different time periods actually. Okay, so this is why the birth rate, the death rate, and the migration is considered as an important as the three important components of population change. Okay, so basically the population, it changes only just because of these three different factors. Okay, that is the birth rate, the death rate, and the migration. So I hope you all have understood about the different components of components of population change. Okay, and also the different terms related to migration.